Hello, I'm Nigel Wilhem. I'm a senior research scientist with SARDI in South Australia. One of my programs that I've been involved with for a couple of decades now, I suppose, is looking at crop nutrition and fertiliser management for broadacre crops across southern Australia. We've always advocated that soil testing is a valuable tool for farmers to help them make informed fertiliser decisions. Most of those soil tests have been based on a 0 to 10 centimetre soil sample, and that's been quite useful for most of our nutrients that we require supplementation with fertilisers. But over the last couple of decades, we've realised that that doesn't really work for nitrogen, which is a very mobile nutrient. We know it'll move down with a wetting front, and hence the soil testing program's been modified to make sure that the soil sample captures the root zone of a broadacre crop, and in that way we'll sample the whole N reserve available to the crop throughout the growing season. I guess the latest development that's starting to emerge now is we might be able to value add to those deep soil cores and also start monitoring the whole root zone's reserves of sulphur and potassium. The two nutrients which we sometimes need to supplement with fertilisers. A 0 to 10 centimetre sample won't capture the full reserves which are potentially available to a crop. So I think what you'll start to see in the next year or two is a campaign to promote the use of those deep soil cores for not only monitoring nitrogen, but also monitoring sulphur and potassium. These are two nutrients which are in deficient supply in some of our soil types, so monitoring them is very useful for a total fertiliser program. In southern Australia also we have a lot of soil types where we do have quite substantial reserves of sulphur and potassium deeper in the profile. So we don't capture those with a 0 to 10 centimetre sample, and in those cases, by detecting them in the deeper core, actually realise that there is plenty of sulphur and potassium for the crop, and there's no need to supplement that with a sulphur or potassium fertiliser. So that's certainly an opportunity of avoiding an additional cost to the cropping program. But in circumstances where no or very low sulphur and potassium reserves are picked up in those deeper cores, it actually justifies the need for those sulphur and potassium fertilisers and should result in crop productivity increases and also profit from correcting two problems which can hold back a crop quite substantially. So you can get extra value from your deep coring, which you're now using for nitrogen and water sometimes, by also monitoring sulphur and potassium. So that's something we'd like to see happening across the industry more widespread, and we'll be developing criteria to interpret those soil tests over the next year or two.